And we have the gorgeous Rose Harari here in New York. It is very nice to be on the same time zone. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling awesome. How are you?
Wonderful. I'm very excited to chat with you today. You've just been absolutely soaring in Soul to Soul. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
When you came to me, so let's just actually, you know what, I'm just going to put it over to you. I'm not going to do all the talking. Rose is actually a client service manager for a big advertising company here in New York. And we met an event. So I'm just going to pass it over to Rose on sort of how that was for you and how we got started.
Yeah, so my friend invited me to this event at the Ludlow House, and I didn't really know what to expect. She said there was this speaker, didn't really know much about it, and I was like, all right, sure, why not? And I immediately, once I got there and Lucy started talking, I just immediately connected. I just had this connection with you that I just wanted to talk more to you. I wanted to tell you all about my life. I wanted to just, I don't know, like it was just an instant connection. So, you had mentioned at the Ludlow House after the whole session that you were doing a program called Soul to Soul. And one of the things you said to me was like, it's not how to date and find the soulmate. It's how to be, comfortable with you. And it all starts with you, which is something that like, I just felt like I needed so much. And I was like, I'm done. I'm signing up. I want to do it. There was like no, hesitation there. It was just instant.
I remember that moment. You were so gorgeous. You literally came up to me and like, Lucy, I am your soulmate client. Where do I sign up? And I was like, you're like, I've done a lot of work and I know that I'm ready and I'm going to show up. And there's no point in doing this if I'm not. And I'm like, great. So I don't need to say anything.
Yeah.
I don't need to say, are you ready? Because it's something that I'm very particular about is, I'm not here just to kind of work with anyone. It's a disservice because when someone's not ready, then it's simply just like pushing shit uphill. But when someone's ready, it's like everything becomes possible and everything opens up. And you were just like out of the gate. I was like, I love it. Like it was such a joy for me to meet you and just for you to be in that place. So then let's fast forward a little bit. So we then got on a call and it was all, you signed up. You didn't even need to hear anything about the program. I was like, do you want to hear about it? You were just like, in. I want to know, Rose, kind of like where you were sitting, because I know so much has shifted for you, but really where were you sitting in your life? Like what wasn't working? What were you struggling with? Like just what was it like for you before Soul to Soul?
Oh God. I was just down in the dumps about everything. I was not comfortable in my job and what I was doing on a day-to-day. Dating was just like, I was just over it. I didn't want to go on another app. I didn't want to go on another date. I felt empty. I didn't feel confident. I just felt hopeless. I felt hopeless in every aspect of my life. And I knew that there was work that had to be done. I just didn't know how or where to get it. And that's why when I met you, Lucy, and you told me a little bit about the program, I didn't even need to hear more because I already knew I was in a place where I needed to do the work, where I knew that I needed to shift out of what I was in because I knew that like this was not the life for me. So I struggled. I couldn't make headway. I couldn't get out of my own rut. So Soul to Soul was just something that was like, maybe this is something that's going to help me, shift where I am in my life right now.
And actually, just as you were saying that, like the energy I was feeling, obviously this is just a metaphor, but it felt like you're in a bit of a coma. You know what I mean? It's like when I saw you, I was like, oh my God, she's got so much magic about her. But it was like there was this heavy cloud.
Heavy.
Like just really holding you in this cocoon of kind of misery, really. And
yes.
So, I mean, I knew right away, I was like, you want it. And that's all that I needed to see. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, if you didn't want it, it's like, well, this isn't going to work. But you were like, I want whatever this takes. So then, and also what I love about you is it's not like this was your first, this is not your first attempt at doing this kind of work. Could you just share with us sort of what you tried before and
Yeah. A lot of therapy. So a lot of psychotherapy, cognitive behavioral therapy. And I also did some seminars, and specifically Tony Robbins. And everyone had told me like Tony Robbins is going to change your life and it's life changing. And I spent all this money to go for this seminar for the whole weekend. And yes, there were a lot of like great tidbits that I got from there. But when you're not practicing that, when you don't have that regularly and you don't have the tools regularly after that weekend, everything just kind of falls off.
Yeah.
And kind of just goes away. But with Soul to Soul, it was so different because the tools that you give us they stay with you. There's the workbook and the meetings every week, and it just kind of like it stays with you so much more than just a weekend seminar. And I felt like, yes, I did a lot of work in therapy, and I definitely feel like I got a lot out of that. But what therapy didn't give to me is really like how to be myself and how to be okay with myself, how to love myself. Yeah, I talked about my mom, I talked about my dad, I talked about my family life, et cetera, et cetera. But like, what about loving Rose? And I never got that from any of the therapy that I've done.
Which I know now. You dug deep, and that's the thing. We won't go into all the modules and what they are. By the way, for those of you watching, I've got massive allergies, so I do look like I have been hit by 2 big golf balls. We're not about being perfect though, so it's all good. But really, you dug really deep. You went into some really deep parts of yourself that I know that you were saying that you barely shared with anyone, and that was really powerful to see you open up that vulnerability and to feel that safe. And it's not like we just come in and gloss over like, yay, let's just like love ourselves and attract our soulmate. It's like, that's so top line, and that is not what Soul to Soul is. I'm sure you would agree with me. It gets quite gritty. There are moments that it really gets uncomfortable, would you say?
Yes. You have to really dig deep into your heart, dig deep into the past, dig into things that may have been dormant for a really long time, and bring them out in a way, not just on a surface level, like bring them out in a way where it's you feel like you're back in that place. And you have to be ready to be open to go back to that place, because that's the only way you're going to make it through.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to sort of caveat that as well, there's an intention, right, with where I took you, but also the purpose was to really clear and release a lot of those parts that have been numb, that have been hurting, maybe like resentment, all sorts of things, anger, all that stuff. We sort of clean it out so that then you can come in and create this beautiful new life for yourself.
Exactly.
I always use the analogy. It's like you can go and put really nice icing on a cake, but if it's filled with rocks, when you cut into it, it's not really going to be a very good cake, is it? It's going to be, you're not going to be able, it's going to be horrible, break your teeth. But it would still look good when you ice it. And a lot of the times I see out there's sort of just these like Band-Aid approaches, and it's not something that's going to last. And I know with the feedback from you girls and all my clients is that, you've got tangible tools now. You can go back to all of these teachings because they're recorded and actually, re-presence yourself if you need to. So Rose, I'd love to ask you just how you felt in a nutshell about dating before and sort of now how it's shifted for you.
Yeah, so before I was like down in the dumps about it. I didn't want to go out on another date. I didn't want to see another guy. I was also back and forth with my ex of 7 years for a while and not getting what I wanted out of it. And I was settling for it because I thought that's what I deserved. I thought like that's the frequency I'm on, so that's what I'm going to get. And then I actually started Soul to Soul while I was still dealing with my ex. And, Lucy, one of the things you said to me in the beginning, which I remember, was try and separate yourself from the relationship that you have going on now and try to really see Soul to Soul, as a separate entity. And when I did do that, when I did really like take that in, I broke up with him because I said like, this is not the guy I deserve. I deserve so much more than that. So it just made me feel like You know, it took dating to a point where it's like now if I'm loving Rose, that's inviting someone in to also love me on the same exact level. So
Yes.
now it's like not, you know, I'm not going on an app like being empty about it. If I'm going on an app, I'm really being very meticulous about who I'm picking and who I want to talk to. Or now when I go out, it's more, instead of commiserating with my friends on how bad dating is, I'm more about like, yeah, he's going to come in some way, somehow. I don't know how, but I'm going to enjoy what I'm doing where I am, because maybe he's at the next table. Like, I don't know. You know, you opened my eyes to see that, like, it doesn't have to be just on a dating app or just going to a dating event. It could be anywhere. Friends spoke to another friend, or like now I have hope that
Mm.
it's just going to come from somewhere because I'm in a much better place.
Oh, even the way you're speaking, it's so inspiring to me, because what I'm really hearing is you've let go of the attachment, and you're not there trying to generate this thing where that's what we do, is we go into fear and then we scattergun and then we try and just fill our diaries up trying to make something happen. And that is like from an empty love tank.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's like, no, 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 no. You just want to be really ready for when he does show up, but you don't want to be sitting around waiting for it or trying to make it happen. And I think I'm so excited for you now, because even just in the way that you were just sharing that with us, it was just so free and easy. And what I was really hearing is like, I love Rose and I'm just hanging out with Rose right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he's coming in and I don't need to go and like chase after it. It's already taken care of. And that's what was coming through. And I know in my bones, like, I'm going to be celebrating you very, very soon, because I know that's why don't we hear from you what you'd like, what you're really out to create. Like,
I mean, I'm out to create the most amazing story, finding my soulmate, getting married, having children. You know, it's that dream of just, you know, also building a new career, doing what I love to be doing. I now just feel like before it was, these were untangible things. Now it's tangible because I really wholeheartedly believe it deep down. Because before you could say you believe it,
yeah,
but do you really? And that's one of the things I think that you, through Soul to Soul, you're like, come on and talk from your heart and talk from that you're gonna believe it. And in the beginning, I didn't. I was like, oh, no, like, I don't really believe that. I'm never going to get married. Like, I'm not going to find my soulmate.
yeah.
But through the course, you start to realize, like, no, like, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at now.
And that's the story you're telling. And it's such a different woman that I'm speaking to right now. And of course you felt like that at the beginning of the course. That's why you signed up. And maybe it can have a grip on you for the first week, you know, but then it's sort of, you know, we play big from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So even it's like, I think at first it feels like for people sometimes, I've heard this feedback a lot, like, Lucy, I'd love my soulmate. I'd love a family. I'd love to really like have so much more connection to myself, but it does feel like a concept. And then it moves into actually you living it and then speaking it. But you know, you're even speaking from an entirely different place, Rose. It's like you truly believe now, whereas before it was a stuck energy. And you're out there inspiring people, you know, in your friendship circles already, and we haven't even finished.
Yep.
So what was one of your favorite parts before we start to wrap? What was one of your favorite, like, what was something you found really powerful? Was it, I mean, because obviously for those of you that are really resonating with Rose, you know, this is a really sacred vortex of 5 women sharing themselves intimately. It's not like I just teach the course and you guys do the homework. It's interactive every day, like across 8 weeks. So yes, what was something that really you found was sort of a real game changer?
So much. But I had to say probably the little girl session that
Everyone's talking about this. Yeah.
That was like so powerful because it was going back to those years of when I first felt unsafe and like really tapping into, well, that's where the cores of some of my problems are when I felt unsafe, whether it be, you know, with a family member or a guy or friends at school when I was younger. Going into all of that at first seemed scary, but now it's instinctual for me to go back to that place when I'm having a problem and saying, okay, that's just my little girl. It's okay. I'm going to keep her safe. I'm going to hug her. I'm going to be with her and soothe her. And I feel like by doing that, it's just life changing. Like it just brings me back to Rose. It brings me back to my center. So yes, the little girl, that was one of my favorites. I think also a thing that I didn't do before also was taking myself out on dates. Just being alone with Rose. Like I have so much fun with myself, and now I do it all the time. I go to my favorite restaurant whenever I feel like it. I order wine, I have my pasta, and I have the best freaking time.
That's very much now. Obviously, I've got my like little fun tiara on because I do teach women to ignite their inner queen, and it's just a really cool way to really sort of make it fun about, you know, really loving yourself. But do you feel now, you know, like that queen? You tap into
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like I like have no hesitation now in feeling that way, especially when I'm by myself. Like the other night, I just went to a bar, had a couple of drinks and pasta, and sat there by myself, and I literally just felt amazing. I was like, I'm just gonna sit here and do my thing. I was barely even looking at my phone, just hanging out.
Beautiful. But that's the woman that then attracts this man that's going to adore her. Why? Because she adores herself. And so often, I know this was my story too, but I'm out there down here trying to attract a guy when I was really not in a good place. And I was just drinking more. I was dating a lot, and I'm down here. So of course I was attracting guys from down here. With the self-love and all of that self-worth going up, I then come up here. I can't attract someone from that place. You then start to attract in someone that's going to meet you there. It is the law of attraction. You know, it's very, very simple. But there's no way around it other than doing the self-love work, right? There's no quick fix. It's like being committed to go, hang on, I am the most important person. And when you love her up, you become a magnet.
Yeah, and look, it's work. It's like I can't just sit there and expect it all to come. It really is work, but it's good work. It's, you know, it feels very fulfilling. You know, Lucy, the other day I was talking to my younger brother, and he's about to get engaged really soon, but he's been like really busy, and he's going for his MBA, and he's planning the wedding, and you know, he was complaining to me how stressed he is and overwhelmed, and it almost seemed like he was losing himself, like he was losing his core. And I'm like, Adam, you gotta spend time with you. You gotta take yourself out on a date once a week. I don't care about your fiance. I don't care about your MBA. I don't care. And he looked at me and he said, you're right.
Oh, that's amazing.
I said, go back to what your heart was before you got all stressed out. And I felt so good. And I kept meaning to tell you, and I just didn't have a chance. But like, I felt so good because I feel like he really took that and was like, you're right. This is what I like to use. This is what I used to do. I'm going to go do it. I want to go get a massage. I'm going to go get a massage. Great.
Beautiful. And now, you know what I'm feeling is like, he'll now be looking to you as someone that inspires him and keeps him accountable to himself. So it's like, not only have you come and gotten your life like firing on all cylinders, but it's now put you in a place to inspire other people. I'm saying that really, really clearly without even trying. It's just coming out of you.
It just comes.
So I've got two more things that are really juicy. I would love for you just to share with us. Pretty early on in the course, I do say to people, when you start to make these big shifts, things around you absolutely start to show you that you're actually shifting. And I would love you just to share us that story about your grandfather.
Oh, yes. So when I started Soul to Soul, I don't remember what week we were in at that point.
It was like the second week.
It was early on, yeah. And we had holidays by my family. It was a Jewish holidays. And my grandfather is a very cranky, very old, very no filter type of guy. So he's kind of scary. But when we had dinner that night, I came downstairs and he was sitting on the couch and he was like, you look beautiful. You look so happy. He's like, I haven't seen you like this in a really long time. And I was like, thank you. Like I was a little bit shocked because he's such a cranky old man, but I immediately also went to like soul to soul. It's like it's working. It's my aura's changing, my mood is changing, my confidence is changing. And for him to notice that is huge.
Oh, and also, so what I want to say is like your essence for those watching, and you resonate with Rose. It's like, soul to soul is just about amplifying what you already have within you. I'm just there holding the space for you, but Rose is already freaking epic. It's just the lights were going out a bit, so it's that essence is now when it's firing and it's open and you're sharing it. People can't help but notice it. And I know that you also then had someone else, wasn't there a guy on the street that came up to you and
oh yes. Yes. It was like one of those nice days in New York that like you had to take advantage of. And I was just window shopping on Fifth Avenue, minding my own business. And some guy just kind of walks up to me and he was like, hey, I know this is kind of weird, but you're really cute. And I was like, thanks. And I got all nervous and I like ran away.
Which we talked about, by the way. I'm like, okay, Rose, so next time don't run away because this is kind of like the plan and they can come out from anywhere. And it's always when we least expect it. We hear that cliche, but really is true. So, but really it's just such feedback, the universe is showing you that your light is shining bright and people want a piece of it. And then it comes down to obviously the Queen with you saying, well, let me see what feels best. Oh, cool, I'll just settle for you. It's like, no, let me just see because you're already in it. So before we wrap, I'd love for you to also just touch on what you were dealing with a bit of a health complaint and even just how quickly you have shifted. That's really powerful.
Yeah. So my health, I've been having stomach problems pretty much all my life. Been in and out of doctors, doing tests. Basically what happens is, the food doesn't flow through my colon like a normal person's. It's slower. The muscles don't contract as well. And throughout my 20s, I kind of just dealt with it. Now in my 30s, I'm a healthy person. I work out every day. And it just started to get increasingly worse to the point where I just really would go once every 7 days if I was lucky. And I'd be constantly angry at my colon, at my body, at myself. Cause I'm like, why did I get stuck with this? Like, why is this like happening to me? Of course, I know that there's a lot worse problems out there, but it was just this sense of frustration. And then when I spoke to you, Lucy, about it, I called Lucy because I was like, I don't know if I want to start the next program with this problem that I have because I feel like I can't go deep. Like this is stopping my life. This is stopping what I want to be doing. And she was like, well, it's quite the opposite. Like bring it in, and also talk to it. Be nice to it. Be nice to your colon. Be nice to your stomach. Be nice to yourself. And the less angry you are, the more it's gonna feel better. Like the mental power that we have is huge on the body. Once I started being nice to my colon, and also in this, doing the accelerator, we have doing gratitudes. I give thanks to my colon every single day now.
Wow.
And I'm seeing a shift in how things are operating. It's still not perfect.
No, but it's just, you just started. Yes.
It's definitely more frequent than it was before because I'm putting less strain. I'm less angry. I'm thankful that I at least have a colon for things to flow through. And it completely changed like how I think about it. So thank you so much for that.
No, my pleasure. It's just like the power of, it's you, Rose. You know, it's like you listen, but you take it on, and you realize now the power of our mindset is the way that our life goes. You're no longer living in that victim mentality of life is happening to you, which you were when I met you. Everything was happening to you. It's like dating wasn't working. You know what I mean? And I'm saying that with love, but that's like that's where you were. And that's why you're like, let's do this. And now you're like, oh, hey, how do I actually solve this? Or what would be a good, there's none of that complaining. It's just like, oh, this is coming up, so I really want to deal with that. Like, what's the best approach? So you're just moving through things and knowing that there is always a way through. So there is that possibility that I'm seeing in you, which means you don't let anything stop you. You just show up and you're like, this is where I'm going. And it's amazing to see. So so for those, Rose has actually finished Soul to Soul, and she's now coming into the accelerator, which is for people that want to just continue. Okay, well, listen, for those that are watching that are really connecting with you and seeing themselves in you, what would you say to them right now?
I mean, I would say that if you feel like you are in a place like me and want to make shifts in your life, Soul to Soul is it's an amazing process, but come and be ready to work. Lucy has such good teachings, and there's so much to learn from her, and it's life-changing, and you just have to be ready and in a place that you really want to change your life and you want to make shifts, and let it happen. Let it take its course. Enjoy the process. Don't think of it as like, oh, this is going to be so much work. This is going to be annoying. Like it is like so helpful to like make you who you are, and feel very connected. If you want to feel very connected to yourself, this is the program to do.
Well, we used to have fun though. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, as much as we're hearing, like there is definitely a process for sure. There is no way, there's no easy like silver bullet, right? When we want to do deep transformation and actually really make big shifts, of course there's going to be a process where it does get uncomfortable. But, with our group, it's like, I always look forward to you girls because you're always like so, no matter what you had going on. And I guess for people that are sort of like on the fence, it's like, did you have any resistance that came up? Was there any sort of like, anything that came to you before you signed on that was almost going to hold you back, but you didn't let it?
Yeah, I'd probably say money was the biggest thing because, like I said, I had spent on therapy and Tony Robbins and all these other things that didn't really work. And I was like, oh, well, am I just going to like, put more money into something that might not work? But I was really at a point in my life where, money wasn't going to be an option in this case. It was because of the connection that I had with you, Lucy. I just felt like deep down, like I would be really missing out if I didn't give it a shot. And that's it. Like I just said, you know what, Rose, like take a chance. It's, like just take a chance.
Yeah. No, I just love listening to you because that is really powerful. I think especially when we are in the trenches where we are sort of feeling a little hopeless, it's easy to kind of just go, oh, well, nothing really has worked, so I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. And I even hearing power in you, even when you were in that place of not feeling so great, just to be like, listen, this is what's happening. And that's honoring yourself deeply and investing in you, and it's paid off in spades.
Also, I do want to say also to people that are listening that this is different than anything you've ever done because you are with other women who are going through the same struggles. And that's also what attracted this to me too, is that I get to talk to these other women. Now I'm friends with one of the girls lives in Australia. Like I love her, and that's also really powerful to me because that connection that you make with other women is you can't explain it.
Yeah.
So that's something I also just felt like, how could I pass this up to be with other women too? And having that, like you said, it was fun also, and it was work also, but it was everything combined, you know, with these women. So.
Awesome, Rose. And it's just, I'll just say one last thing. It's so funny. When we first kicked off, Rose was like, yeah, I'm not really good at kind of sharing a lot. Like, and I was like, yeah, that's not how this is going to go. And you could have easily sat there, but you were like, okay, fine. And you stepped up, and then you became like one of the biggest sharers.
Yeah.
Right?
Those Facebook lives were pretty scary at first. I was like, I have to look at myself and talk about myself in these lives. And yeah, and then it just became like I'm no hesitancy in doing it anymore. It was like a great learning experience, and I'm so happy that like I got to see myself start from like this little girl in a shell that just came out and just like does not care anymore. I'm like, whatever. If I have no makeup on, my hair's in a bun, I'm in glasses, I'm like, that's what you guys get.
Oh my God, look at you. And then now you've also realized that you don't really want to stay in the same job.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really like, I'm ready to like make the shift in to a different career, or, you know, to work in a area that I'm actually really interested in. So I'm not just applying anywhere and, you know, just being half-assed about it just because I want to get out of here. I really know the area I want to work in. So I'm doing a lot of research into it and being really careful about it. And I feel hope that it's there for me.
Yeah, you're a powerhouse. You're already, as you know, like touching people's lives just with who you're being now. So I just want to acknowledge you, Rose, to say you are like an amazing woman, and I can't wait to sort of follow your journey, because I know there's really big things coming your way because you are living in your skin now. You know, like you're actually at home with who you are, and it really, really shows.
Thank you, Lucy. Most of it is because of you.
No, it's because of you. Because you showed up. So you and I obviously
Yeah.
you and I could keep chatting with you all day, but I know you've got to get back to work, and I really appreciate you taking this time to just, you know, share your story so that others can really hear and see if it's right for them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, beauty. Thank you so much, and
Thank you.
yeah, I'll see you Monday.
Okay. Bye, Lucy.
Bye.